If someone disrespects you, do this. Instead, Stoic philosophy, disrespect has a strange power, not because of the words themselves, but because of what those words awaken inside us. One careless sentence, one dismissive glance, one act of betrayal, one moment of humiliation, and suddenly, a battle begins, not outside of us, but within. Our heart beats faster, our thoughts become louder, our pride demands justice, our anger whispers, "Don't let them get away with this." Our ego insists, "Prove your worth." Make them regret it. And before we even realize what has happened, someone else's behavior has taken control of our inner world. That is the hidden danger of disrespect. It rarely wounds the body. It attempts to conquer the mind. Every single day, millions of people surrender their peace to strangers. A rude comment from a coworker, a cruel message online, a friend who forgets our loyalty, a family member who misunderstands us, a partner who no longer appreciates our efforts. And instead of protecting our inner peace, we spend hours replaying the moment, imagining better responses, rehearsing arguments that will never happen, searching for words sharp enough to wound the person who wounded us. Yet every minute we spend reliving the insult. The insult continues, not because they keep speaking, but because we keep listening. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than almost anyone. As emperor, he lived surrounded by criticism, betrayal, political enemies, and constant judgment. Yet he reminded himself, "Is greater than. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." At first, these words seem impossible. How can we choose not to be hurt? How can we remain calm when someone intentionally disrespects us? The answer is not that insults have no power. It is that their greatest power exists only when we give them permission to live inside our minds. Imagine someone throwing burning coal toward you. Most people instinctively catch it. They grip it tightly and then wonder why their hands are burning. Insults are no different. We believe the pain comes from what was thrown. Often, it comes from what we refuse to let go. This does not mean accepting injustice. It does not mean becoming weak. It does not mean allowing others to mistreat us without boundaries. Quite the opposite. The strongest person is not the one who reacts the fastest. The strongest person is the one who refuses to become the mirror of another person's anger. Anyone can shout. Anyone can seek revenge. Anyone can lose control. Very few people possess the discipline to remain calm when every emotion demands retaliation. That discipline is where true strength begins. Epictetus offered a timeless reminder, "Is greater than. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Notice what he did not say. He did not deny that disrespect exists. He simply refused to allow another person's actions to dictate his character. That is freedom, because the moment someone else controls your emotions, they possess something more valuable than your attention. They possess your peace, and peace is far too precious to hand over so easily. Many of us believe respect is something other people give us, but lasting respect begins somewhere far deeper. It begins with refusing to abandon our own principles simply because someone else abandoned theirs. There is a profound difference between protecting your dignity and protecting your ego. The ego wants revenge. Dignity wants wisdom. The ego wants to win the argument. Dignity wants to remain worthy of itself. The ego asks, "How do I make them suffer?" Wisdom quietly asks, "How do I prevent their actions from changing who I am?" That single question has transformed countless lives, because the greatest danger has never been another person's disrespect. The greatest danger is allowing their disrespect to awaken the worst version of ourselves. Today, we will walk together through a different path, a quieter path, a stronger path. We will discover why calmness unsettles the disrespectful, why silence often speaks louder than anger, why self-respect matters more than revenge, why emotional mastery is the highest form of power, and why the greatest response to disrespect is rarely the response people expect. Because sometimes the most powerful answer is not found in proving someone else wrong. It is found in becoming someone that no insult can diminish. The journey begins with a difficult truth that almost every person must eventually face. No one can truly disrespect us without first receiving permission from our own mind. Chapter 1. The first battle is not with them, it is with yourself. The moment someone disrespects us, two voices immediately begin speaking. One says, "Show them who you are." The other whispers, "Remember who you are." Most people never notice the difference. The first voice belongs to wounded pride. The second belongs to wisdom. One seeks revenge. The other seeks mastery. Every insult presents an invisible choice. Not whether someone else's behavior was right or wrong. That has already happened. The real choice is this: who will we become because of it? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Is greater than, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Those words have survived nearly 2,000 years because they reveal a truth that most people never discover. Every time we answer cruelty with cruelty, disrespect with disrespect, hatred with hatred, we slowly become the very thing we once condemned. The insult ends, but the bitterness remains, and eventually, it reshapes our character. Imagine standing before a perfectly calm lake. Someone throws a stone into the water. Ripples spread across the entire surface. Most people spend their lives reacting to every stone thrown by others. Their emotions rise and fall with every opinion, every criticism, every betrayal, every misunderstanding. They never experience peace because they never stop reacting. But eventually, we realize something extraordinary. We are not responsible for every stone thrown into our lives. We are only responsible for how long we allow the water to remain disturbed. That realization changes everything, because emotional freedom begins the moment we stop giving strangers authority over our peace. Epictetus reminded us, "Is greater than. Any person capable of making you angry becomes your master." Think carefully about those words. If a stranger can destroy your entire day with a single sentence, who truly holds the power? If another person's opinion determines your self-worth, who is actually controlling your life? The answer is uncomfortable, but honesty often is. The greatest prison is not created by walls. It is created by emotional dependence. When our peace depends upon everyone treating us fairly, we become prisoners of other people's behavior, and people are unpredictable. Some are kind, others are careless, some are wise, others are driven by pain they have never healed. If we expect every person to act with maturity, we sentence ourselves to endless disappointment. Wisdom teaches another path. Instead of demanding that others become better, we quietly become stronger. Because strength cannot always control the storm, but it can learn to remain steady within it. Chapter 2. Why disrespect reveals more about them than you. One of life's greatest misunderstandings is believing that another person's behavior defines our worth. It does not. People reveal themselves far more often than they reveal us. An angry person reveals their lack of peace. A dishonest person reveals their lack of integrity. An arrogant person reveals hidden insecurity. A disrespectful person often reveals an undisciplined mind. This does not excuse harmful behavior, but it changes how we see it. Imagine walking through a forest. A tree struck by disease cannot suddenly produce healthy fruit. Likewise, a heart filled with resentment struggles to produce kindness. People speak from the condition of their inner world. The peaceful encourage, the fearful attack. The confident remain composed. The insecure often seek to diminish others. Seneca wisely observed, is greater than. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. How true this becomes after an insult. One careless remark lasts only seconds. Yet, we replay it for hours. Sometimes, for years. The original wound fades, but the memory continues because we keep reopening it. Why? Because the mind desperately searches for justice. It wants balance. It wants fairness. It wants an apology. Yet life rarely guarantees these things. Some people never apologize. Some never understand the damage they caused. Some continue living as though nothing happened. If our healing depends upon their awareness, healing may never arrive. This is why wisdom chooses another path. Instead of waiting for others to restore our peace, we reclaim it ourselves, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because we deserve freedom. The person who insulted you may forget the moment tomorrow. Do not allow yourself to carry it for the next 10 years. There is too much life waiting ahead, too much purpose still calling your name, too much peace available to waste it on people who have already chosen chaos. The strongest response to disrespect is not proving your value to someone determined not to see it. It is quietly continuing to build a life so rooted in character that their opinion loses the power to disturb your soul. Chapter 3. Silence is the language of inner strength. One of the greatest misconceptions about strength is that it must always be visible. We imagine strength as loud voices, sharp words, perfect comebacks, dominance, victory. But history quietly teaches another lesson. The strongest people rarely feel the need to announce their strength. When someone insults us, our first instinct is almost always to respond, to explain, to defend ourselves, to prove that they are wrong. But ask yourself, why? Why do we feel such urgency to convince someone who has already chosen misunderstanding? The answer often lies in the ego. The ego fears silence because it mistakes silence for defeat. Wisdom understands something entirely different. Silence is not surrender. Silence is selection. It is deciding that your peace is too valuable to exchange for an argument that will change nothing. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, is greater than the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do. Imagine a mighty mountain during a violent storm. Lightning strikes, rein-pour, thunder echoes across the sky. Yet the mountain remains exactly where it has always been. The storm is loud. The mountain is silent. Which one is truly powerful? The world rewards reactions. Character rewards restraint. Every unnecessary argument steals a piece of your attention. Every attempt to satisfy every critic slowly exhausts the spirit. Eventually, we realize that silence is not empty. Silence is filled with confidence. The confident do not need to win every conversation. They simply continue walking toward their purpose. Chapter 4. Your self-respect should never depend on someone else's opinion. There is a dangerous habit that quietly destroys countless lives. It is measuring our worth through the eyes of others. If they praise us, we feel valuable. If they criticize us, we begin questioning ourselves. If they reject us, we assume we are not enough. Without realizing it, we hand strangers the keys to our happiness. But consider this. Can a mirror create your face? No. It can only reflect what is already there. The opinions of others are much the same. They are reflections of their own experiences, fears, expectations, and limitations. They are not the measure of your soul. Epictetus asked a powerful question, is greater than. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses. Answer simply, he does not know my other faults, or he would not have mentioned only these. What remarkable freedom exists in those words. Instead of becoming offended, he chose humility. Instead of becoming defensive, he chose perspective. Instead of allowing criticism to wound him, he allowed it to remind him that perfection has never been the goal. Growth has. Your worth does not increase when someone applauds you, nor does it decrease when someone insults you. A diamond buried beneath the earth remains a diamond, whether anyone recognizes its value or not. The same is true of character. If your principles are genuine, they do not require public approval. The disciplined soul quietly continues, doing what is right, even when misunderstood. Because integrity is not something others give us. It is something we protect. Number chapter 5. Let your character speak louder than your anger. There comes a point in every mature life when we stop asking, how do I make them regret hurting me? And begin asking, how do I make sure this pain does not change who I am? That question marks the beginning of real strength. Anyone can answer an insult. Very few can answer it with dignity. Imagine an ancient oak tree standing in the middle of a fierce wind. The branches bend, the leaves tremble, but the roots remain firm. The storm tests the tree. It does not define it. Disrespect is much the same. It reveals the depth of our roots, not the violence of the wind. Seneca wisely wrote, is greater than. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. How many regrets have been born from words spoken in the first 30 seconds of anger? How many friendships have ended because pride spoke before wisdom had a chance? How many lives have been redirected by one uncontrolled reaction? Angers promise satisfaction, but it rarely delivers. It tells us revenge will restore our dignity. Yet revenge often leaves us feeling emptier than before. Character offers another path. It reminds us that every insult is an opportunity, not to demonstrate power over another person, but to demonstrate power over ourselves. Because self-mastery is infinitely more valuable than winning an argument. The person who controls their emotions possesses a strength that cannot be taken away. Eventually, people may forget every insult they spoke. They may never remember the argument, but they will remember the person who remained calm when everyone expected anger. Number chapter 6. Set boundaries without becoming bitter. There is a quiet misunderstanding that has followed humanity for centuries. Many believe that kindness requires endless tolerance, that strength means enduring every insult, that forgiveness means allowing the same wound to be inflicted again and again. But wisdom teaches something different. There is a profound difference between carrying hatred and carrying boundaries. Hatred imprisons us. Boundaries protect us. The disciplined person does not build walls because they despise the world. They build gates because they value peace. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time, your attention, your energy, or your heart. Marcus Aurelius wrote, is greater than. When someone does you wrong, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. Notice what he suggests. He does not ask us to become blind. He asks us to become understanding. People act according to the condition of their own minds. The dishonest deceive because deception has become normal to them. The arrogant belittle others because pride has replaced humility. The disrespectful often carry wounds they have never confronted. Understanding this does not require us to remain close to them. Compassion and distance can exist together. Sometimes the wisest response is not another conversation. It is a quiet goodbye, not spoken with anger, not delivered with revenge. Simply accept it with peace. There are seasons when protecting your character requires walking away from people who repeatedly test it. The tree does not apologize for shedding dead leaves. Nature never feels guilty for creating healthy boundaries. Neither should we, because protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. Number chapter 7. The greatest revenge is becoming untroubled. Most people misunderstand revenge. They imagine making another person suffer, winning the argument, proving everyone wrong, displaying success so loudly that former critics regret their words. But all of these victories remain dependent upon other people. True freedom begins when we no longer require our enemies to lose in order for us to win. Imagine carrying a heavy stone everywhere you go. It slows every step. It exhausts every movement. Eventually, someone asks, "Why are you carrying that?" You answer, "Because someone insulted me years ago." How strange that would sound. Yet emotionally, many of us do exactly that. We carry old conversations, old betrayals, old humiliations, old disappointments, long after the people who caused them have forgotten they ever happened. Who continues suffering? Not them. Us. Seneca warned us, is greater than anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. How true those words remain. Anger promise justice, but often delivers chains. Bitterness promises protection, but quietly poisons peace. The greatest revenge has never been making another person miserable. It has always been refusing to allow their actions to determine the quality of your life. Imagine meeting the very person who once disrespected you years later. They expect resentment. They expect hostility. Instead, they find someone calm, someone fulfilled, someone whose character remained untouched by hatred. Nothing unsettles bitterness more than meeting someone it failed to corrupt. That is victory, not because they finally noticed, but because you finally became free. Number the final truth. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding about respect is believing that it begins with other people. It does not. Respect begins within. Every time we remain faithful to our principles, we strengthen it. Every time we betray ourselves to impress others, we weaken it. The world may misunderstand you. People may judge you unfairly. Some will criticize what they never tried to understand. Others will disrespect what they secretly envy. You cannot control any of this, but you can always control one thing: the condition of your own character. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the soul becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts. Choose those thoughts carefully, because every insult you continue replaying becomes another brushstroke upon your soul. Every act of forgiveness, every moment of restraint, every decision to remain calm paints a different picture, one of strength, one of dignity, one of freedom. The strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. It is the one who cannot be manipulated by praise, cannot be broken by criticism, cannot be provoked by disrespect, and cannot be distracted from their purpose. That person has discovered something priceless. Their peace no longer belongs to the world. It belongs to them. And once you reach that place, no insult can truly diminish you. No opinion can define you. No disrespect can steal what has already become rooted deep within your character. Because the greatest victory in life is not convincing others to respect you. It is becoming someone whose self-respect no longer depends on anyone else. If this message spoke to you, write "My peace is my power" in the comments. Let those words become a daily reminder that your dignity is never determined by another person's behavior. If this video helped you see disrespect from a new perspective, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more timeless wisdom on discipline, resilience, emotional mastery, and inner strength. And remember this, whenever someone tries to provoke you, they control you only if they control your reaction. Guard your mind, protect your peace, master yourself,